When I sat on the floor of my mother's suburban New Jersey apartment, I had no idea that I would write my very first poem that day. What I knew is that I was watching a movie with poetry in it, and the main character was this gorgeous black woman who wrote poems and took no crap, and who made me say, I want to be like her. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes motivation works best when you see her, even if it's in a movie, even if it was a woman who I had never before met. When I sat on the floor of my mother's New Jersey apartment, I had no clue that soon we'd be moving back to the city that birthed me, that in a blink of an eye, that woman from the movie would seem to have disappeared. Not because there aren't any super women in Camden, New Jersey, but because there's a large population of people in my hometown who are desperately seeking a hero instead of realizing that they themselves are one. When you're young, when you're black, when you're a woman growing up in this world, in America, in an oppressed environment, many of these factors alone are enough to make one thing clear. You better work twice or three times as hard to be seen as half of anything. Now, all of these factors combined make one thing irrefutable. You'll have to work overtime for the rest of your life to prove that you even exist. So when I saw that woman on the screen, with a look, a talk, an assurance I could not peel my eyes off of, what I saw was an undeniable existence that, in some ways, looked like me. And when a child sees someone they look up to, what do? They tend to mimic, right? So that's what I did. No, not her exact words. My first poem was not plagiarized. But at the age of 11, I wrote poetry for the first time. Poetry that would one day change my life and shake up a great many after me. My adolescent story continues with Camden, with searching for an existence, doing anything I could to let this world know I am not invisible. Every day, getting into a heap of trouble and a whole barrel of sneaky. My grandmother always tried to discipline me, but she didn't know how. My lovely mother rarely tried to discipline me because, well, she didn't really know either. They always thought I was in danger, but danger was a subjective word. When you're 15 years old in a city like mine, danger ain't the bad boys or the bad girls in the corner. Danger ain't what it takes for you to become their family, to build a bond like blood. Danger is why you feel like you need that bond in the first place. Danger is the teacher who told me, you ain't going to amount to a thing. It's the other adult and the other adult, the TV, the top 20 playlist that says, especially since you a girl, especially since you a dark girl. I didn't know danger in the bonds that I was building. I knew people who looked like family, and that, to me, was a beautiful thing. At the age of 17, I was invited downtown to do my first featured poetry performance. There I stood on stage, half troubled, half just wanting to be heard. About 3 poems in, I hear a deep sobbing from the audience. Still managing to do my poem, I look around nervously, searching for the noise, and there, right in the first row, a woman was crying uncontrollably. I swear on everything I've written, I almost ran off stage. The host walked up almost immediately, stood next to me with a slight smile, and whispered, "You see, you did that." As if to say, I helped that woman in some way, somehow, free something. That evening, I came to one life-shaking realization. If my words have the power to move others, then they certainly have the power to move me. I am my own 17-year-old hero. Years passed, college came and went, began learning the world, tried to begin learning myself, moved to Philadelphia, seldom visited home. There was too much reminder there. Until one day, one visit, the whole house was there, and I recall my older brother going off about something my little sister had done, right? Something about her getting in too much trouble and being in too many boys' faces. He was about to go out there and tell her about herself again and snatch her up again, and wait, that's when it hit me. That is right. I do have a younger sister. I spent so much time trying to avoid my past that I somehow avoided the very person who was becoming who I used to be. When she finally stomped into the house, yelling, screaming teenage words like, "You don't know my life," and "whatever," I inched over to her, slowly, placed my hand onto her shoulder as if to meet myself for the very first time. I thought about all the kids who call me mentor. I thought, we are 9 years apart. I thought guilt. I thought afraid. I thought about that woman in the movie. I thought, what do I say? In an effort to protect all of my siblings, my mother moved them out of Camden again. But if there's one thing I've learned by now, it's that it ain't about where you run to. It's about what you find within yourself when you get there. My baby sister will turn 1 year older in a few months, old enough to do what she is accustomed to doing, to be considered the woman she always almost is. I'll be asking her questions like, why you like Chief Keef so much? Why you chase boys in thug life so intentionally? Have you seen our big bro's Instagram posts? Homeboy from our old hood got shot up 12 times last night. Why you chase boys in thug life so intentionally, like you ain't in college, like you ain't a good grade, full-time job having, residing in the burbs now type of John? We laugh at my use of the word John. She tells me, keep that Philly talk out of here. I say, Philly is only a bridge away. You've seen so much more, sis. I attempt to plant seeds, but my sister is a stubborn garden. A friend once told me planting seeds is the best we can do, that from there it is not up to us whether or not they blossom. When I speak to her about another black life lost if she blossoms, when I tell her some girls got to learn how to bite before they bloom if she blossoms, when she shakes her head and says, that's crazy, pours my nephew a bowl of cereal, goes silent. Does she blossom? Even when she is silent, even when she is speaking about death and loyalty and how much money Chief Keef got, when she calls our mother anything less than our mother says she wishes she would listen to, I hear my own voice in the tremble of hers. I want to reach out for her hand, but we weren't taught to love that way. A friend once told me, planting seeds is the best we can do, that from there it is not up to us whether or not they blossom. I accepted that until I realized that would make me a lousy gardener. I will not sit back and watch her wither because I held on to some excuse that perhaps letting go is the best I can do, because too often someone letting go is why people who look like us become statistics in the first place. My sister is my favorite student who I have yet to save. I cannot lose her, so I tread lightly through questions like, you still got plans to be a nurse? Or you back to wanting to be a doctor? You got plans on holding up your son, those dreams, and holding down that boyfriend behind bars. At the same time, do nurses bang? Do you think my nephew would get to know me well enough if I had no choice but to keep him? Bundle up. Drive safe. Have you read this book before? You like Chief Keef? Shoot, try listening to Kendrick Lamar. Come visit me in Cali someday. Come visit before you grow old, after we learn to hold hands, before I stop dreaming of your last breath, after you assure me you were not meant to end this way. You, I, us, we were not meant to end this way.